Hello everyone. Welcome to today's edition of the Hillbilly Files. I'm at it again. It's bright and early. I think today's 25th. I've lost count. Been busy, put it that way. I've been busy every day. We're either doing something, we're out doing videos, editing videos, doing something every day. But we are out today. This is, let me show you where we're at. This is an old section of US 52. We're on an old bridge. It's condemned. There's, they don't use this anymore. There's an old coal mine. You go back up in that way, and there's a coal mine operation back up in there, but we won't be going back that way. This right here, like I said, this was the old road. Now I remember when this was the main road in and out of here, US 52. It took a long time when I was younger to get anywhere around here, because you had to run 52 no matter where you went. You either, one way or the other, you either go north or south on 52. And anyone who's driven US 52 knows exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it's just curves and mountains and dips and valleys and just uphill, downhill, constantly, non-stop, curves everywhere. But that's not why we're here either. We're not here because of US 52 either. Like I said, this is the old bridge, and you can see US 119. That's the turnoff right there to head up toward Huntington, West Virginia. And you can see the sign right there, US 52 turns off right there. The reason that we are here, that little piece of dirt right there. Now, years ago, before they built US 119, there was a mound. This right here was an ancient Native American burial ground. Right there, right in the center of your screen, right there where the highway is. It was called Cotiga Mound. It was on the National Register of Historic Places. It was a prehistoric burial mound located right there in the center of your screen, just next to the Tug Rivers, right on the other side of the guardrail right there. An exploratory excavation by the West Virginia Geological and Economic Survey back in the 1970s confirmed that it was a man-made feature. The mound was excavated in entirety in 1991 and 92 by GAI consultants, and the submound was excavated by Robert D. Wall. The mound, it was 11 feet high and about 90 feet in diameter at the time of excavation. But this was lost. The entire mound was lost due to the construction of Corridor G, US 119, right here. They had to take the mound out to get the road through. Based on structural evidence and radiocarbon dating, Cotiga Mound was built in several distinct episodes between 205 BC and 75 AD. Now, y'all know we very commonly do historic stories 100, 150, 200 years old. This story here is ballpark about 2,400 years old, this historic story here, which with most of its construction and use occurring around 102 BC, as in before Christ. So that's how old this historic site is. It was very similar to other, they called them early to middle woodland mounds in West Virginia and Kentucky, also known as Adena. These also include the mounds at Moundsville and South Charleston, West Virginia. This particular one, the Cotiga Mound, it contained the remains of between 7 and 18 cremated individuals, ranging from infants to older adults. Grave goods and associated artifacts, including modified animal bones, stone tools, mica, and 3 copper bracelets.
The Adena culture was a pre-Columbian Native American culture that existed in a time known as the early woodland period. The Adena culture refers to what were probably a number of related Native American societies sharing a burial complex and ceremonial system.
The remains of at least 2 circular post structures, built from, posts, wood, were identified beneath the mound. Evidence suggests that they were built a short time before the mound's construction and were probably used for mortuary rituals and ceremonies rather than as houses. So to the Native Americans, this right here was a very important place. This was sacred ground. Now, in accordance with an agreement between the West Virginia Department of Transportation and the West Virginia Committee on Native North American Archaeological and Burial Policies. Okay? Now, I know it's a mouthful, just try to bear with me. All of the human remains and directly associated grave goods from Cotiga Mound were reburied. A lawsuit filed by the Council for West Virginia Archaeology and other interested parties challenged the agreement, but they weren't successful. They lost. This was the first time in West Virginia history that Native American remains were recovered from a state or federally funded project and reburied. Now, we looked into this and we tried to find out exactly where these remains were buried. We couldn't find anything on it. It just seems to me, common sense, that they would have reburied these people somewhere nearby. There's no sense taking them someplace else. It's a completely different ground. To me, it's disrespectful all around, but either way, the theory is that they were buried, that these remains were reburied somewhere nearby. And that's why history is important, because quite frankly, if you don't know where you're at and how you got there, how are you going to figure out where you're going? You need to know where you've been and how you got where you're at before you can figure out how to get where you're going. So that's why history is important. It's always important. They say that history that is forgotten is doomed to be repeated. Let's remember this little incident in our history, and let's not repeat this. Now, like I said, I just think that's interesting because they're probably somewhere really close by. There's no indication of where. There was no marker put or anything like that, no marker placed, because, quite frankly, they didn't have a marker. They had, the mound itself was the marker. And, when the mound was removed, that's the marker as well. It's gone too. But, I just thought this was really cool, and I have a couple other spots that I wanted to show you. When we've got a little ways to go. I've got some driving to do to get there. But we have some other Native American sites that I wanted to show you guys today. Now, a lot of people don't know that, well, I guess they know that there were Native Americans in this area. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But most people don't know about this stuff. I mean, most locals that I know of, literally, they don't know about this. I happened to mention this in one of our other stories. I stopped right across the road there and just happened to mention it one day. And one of our viewers sent us a message, hey, yeah, here's the news article about it. And, maybe you want to, yeah, you're right. Let's go do that one. That's a good idea. We're going to load up. I'm going to load up and head on out. I've got a couple other stops to make today. Okay, now this right here is this is Laurel Lake. It's on the way up to where I'm going. We're headed on up that way here in a little while. I just want to stop here and show you this real quick. This is Laurel Lake WMA, Wildlife Management Area. You can come down here. This is just some serious backwoods stuff. It's a little mountain lake in the middle of nowhere. And you can come back in here. You can deer hunt and turkey hunt and stuff like that. I just thought I'd stop by here and show y'all this. I wanted to show you something right back here, actually. This is a real good example of what's called a low head dam. Now this is the cheapest and most efficient way of building a dam because you don't have a spillway to deal with. You don't have to worry about all that. But check this out, how beautiful this is. Just look here. Is that not pretty? Big waterfall. How cool is that? Yeah, I just thought I'd show y'all this real quick since we were going right by it. Beautiful place. You come down here, really good fly fishing here. And it's stocked with trout. So yeah, you can come down here and have some fun. Anyhow, I'm gonna get back in the car. I just wanted to show y'all that for just a second. It's just really pretty. I just wanted to show you this real quick. Look how pretty back in there. It's a beautiful little place way back in the country, way back in the woods. Okay, this is where we were going. Now this right here is the main office of the Laurel Lake WMA, Wildlife Management Area. They have a swimming pool right back down here, right around the hill, and the lake is down that way as well. But look how pretty this place is. Little picnic shelters and little trails heading back into the woods. The administrator, his house is right up there. Back years ago, you could rent little paddle boats here and paddle around on the lake and stuff like that, but they don't really have the funding anymore. They've pretty much shut down everything here. You can't camp here or anything anymore. I had a cousin that worked here, Johnny, and when Mom passed away, so I dug the grave myself, and Johnny, my cousin's husband, Angel's husband, he went and helped me dig the grave, and him and his family were the only ones that helped me. And not long after Mom passed away, he got COVID and developed a blood clot, and he passed away. But he worked here for many years, and we'd come down, and Johnny and I, we'd get out in the mountains and just roam the mountains. We claimed to be deer hunting, and we'd take our bows with us, but tell you the truth, we were just out roaming the woods. We didn't even really try to hunt anything. We were just out roaming the woods, just having a good old time. You know, couple grown kids, full-grown kids. You know, he was a good dude. I miss him. Anyhow, the reason I brought you guys here, now these here are called the Dingus Petroglyphs. Now I'll read this, and then I've got some other stuff I want to show you, and then I want to actually show you these old ancient petroglyphs here. Now, the Dingus petroglyphs. These two petroglyph rocks were found on nearby Dingus Mountain, just back up that way, on top of the mountain. They're similar to several other rocks found in the state, like I mentioned earlier. It's a source of controversy, though. Some archaeologists believe that these markings to be a form of ancient Irish writings known as Ogham. If so, these markings may be 12 to 1400 years old.
The Ogham alphabet was used in Ireland and Britain between about the 4th and 7th centuries AD to write Irish, Welsh, Latin, and Pictish.
Please do not clap. Okay. Now, the petroglyphs themselves, and you can sort of see them. It's better when the rock is dry. You can see them much better. Now, I have no clue what that actually says, but the person who wrote that knew what it says. And there's more on this side. You can see them right there. Now, what was it? What did they say? 12 to 14? Yeah, 12 to 1400 years. I don't buy that. Let me read you something that I brought, a little bit of information that I brought that Heather and I found, and we wanted to share with you guys. The Dingus petroglyph was found in 1987 under a rocky outcrop at a strip mine near Dingus, West Virginia in Mingo County, and was transported to Laurel Lake Wildlife Management Area at Lenoir. That's where we are now. Petroglyphs are images created by removing part of a rock surface by incising, pecking, or carving. Since the discovery, they've been moved to a permanent location just a short distance from the original site at Laurel Lake in Lenoir, West Virginia. The glyphs were discovered by local coal miners on the mountain who instantly reported their findings. After reviewing them, the inspectors were sure that they were indeed something unusual and wanted to preserve their Native American history. Although some speculation that the markings were made by Irish missionaries who supposedly visited the area over 1,000 years ago in the 8th century. Although discounted by mainstream professional archaeologists, some believe the missionaries known as Ogham were from Ireland, and the markings are similar to the Ogham alphabet. Those right there, those little letters. The rock has 5 panels of markings or carving and abstract symbols. The carvings are of unknown age, and in all honesty, that they were most likely made by Native Americans or maybe even their ancestors. If you choose to visit this or any other petroglyph, the Division of Culture and History advises that you refrain from touching them in any way, because the oil on your fingers can cause that stuff to deteriorate. Now, how wild is that? I mean, the other site that I just showed you was approximately ballpark 2,400 years old. I think this is Native Americans that did this. The rock itself, and you can see there are images here. Can't really tell what it is. There, and there. That one looks kind of like a skull. You can see like a head, eyes. I'm not really sure how well you can see this. The rock is wet. You can see it much better when it's dry. It's been raining and, you know, turns it darker, and you can't really see it quite as well. But the petroglyphs are all the way around it. Right there you can see something was carved out. Now, for all we know, this could have been some sort of altar, for all we know. A burial ground, possibly. We don't really know. That's part of the mystery. We don't really know what this is. And I think, to me, that's interesting right there. I mean, this is a mystery that we will probably never solve. You know, we will probably never know the real truth about what this is. Now, how crazy is that? Like I said, our little historic videos, they commonly go back a couple hundred years, but it's rare that we go back 2,400. Here we are. But how cool is that? I mean, you can see little marks, little round, like right there. Looks like a bullet hole almost, but obviously not. You just got to kind of wonder what they were trying to signify with these markings. Did this mark a sacred site? Was it just graffiti, for all we know? You know, some Native American thought, you know, hey, yeah, I'll just scribble a picture of, you know, my Aunt Margaret. We'll never know. That's the mystery of it. We will never know what this really is. Now here's the smaller one. This one has some on it. You can see some there. And here. Some of them kind of look like skulls to me. Look like someone was trying to carve a skull. A lot of these Native Americans, you know, these sites, this sort of thing is all that's left. But I'm glad that they got this down here, and you know, they didn't just crush this when they were strip mining the mountain. I'm glad that they got this and moved this down here, you know, so that people could see, and speculation, and even if you don't know the truth 100%, you know, all of this stuff taken in whole, it still represents something, you know, that these people were here, they lived, they existed, you know, they lived their lives, and now they're gone. And it's sad, really, isn't it? But you can see there's old works over there, old stone works. And some of this dates back to the old CCC stuff too, conservation. But how cool is that? An ancient evidence of Native Americans in southern West Virginia. Most people don't even know this stuff's here. What in the world? What could that have been? And you can see here, you can see all sorts of, looks like an M. Not really sure how that looks like. The Ogham language, Ogham writing, impossible. But not very likely in my opinion. I honestly think this is Native Americans. Anyhow, I'm gonna head on up here in a second and move on up. I've got a couple other things I want to video today while I'm out here. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching this video today. I want to take a minute, and I did want to take a minute for one other thing, or two other things actually. First of all, this video is dedicated to all Native Americans. Nothing but respect. Wish you guys all the best. You know, one other thing I did want to mention, a lot of our viewers, we appreciate you guys. I do want to mention that. We appreciate you guys. Look over took a stick to the face yesterday. I was getting a story where I had to do part road and part trail, so I took the Can-Am to cut down distance and went through the mountains. Got popped right in the face with a big stick yesterday. But anyhow, the other thing I wanted to mention, I know a lot of you, when you to subscribe to the channel, some of you subscribe and some of you click notifications and just turn on notifications for the channel. And I'm sure, you know, a lot of people do that for other channels as well. But just so y'all know, if there is a channel that you like and you want to support, they're better off if you use the subscribe as opposed to the notifications. The ones of you who don't mind, if you could use the subscribe button instead of the notifications, we would certainly appreciate it. It'll help us out in the long run, and any, you know, of your small, you know, mom and pop YouTubers, you know, that you'd like to support, that you'd like to help. You know, always use the subscribe button as opposed to just setting up notifications. It'll actually help them out. Just thought I'd tell y'all about that. But anyway, all right. Thank y'all for looking. Thank you for watching. I hope we've shown you something interesting today. If y'all ever get a chance, you're in southern West Virginia, come on down, check this out. It's a one-of-a-kind site. There's nothing else like this anywhere. Cool, huh? All right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna move on. I got another one to do today. I'm heading on up toward Dingus. Got another video to do up that way since I'm down through here. All right, talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Very much appreciate you. Love you guys, all that. Have a great day. Bye-bye.